all, and I know a lot of us aren't really the best. Not the best. Not the most competitive players. Nathan's more competitive. He goes to tournaments, but we don't really go to tournaments. Oh, Dom, you go to tournaments. You like being competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you.
We'll have a competition with you in a minute.
What does that mean? And welcome to episode 15 of the Hexperts BattleTech podcast, Open My Horizons, or what is the BattleTech Open format? This week, your hosts are myself, Lewis. We got Tom over there.
Ohio gozaimasu.
Got Nathan down there.
How are we doing?
Down there on his special chair. Got Dom over there.
That's me.
And we got special guest tonight, Dwane, aka Plastic Crack. That sounds quite
the crack.
There we go. What's the crack? So yeah, as you probably gathered from the title, we're probably going to have a little bit of a talk about the open format in the main segment. And as our expert, Dwane will be able to talk us through some of that stuff. So first, I'm sure a lot of the people within the BattleTech community already know who you are anyway, Dwane. But are you able to give us a bit more of a intro for people who don't know?
Who don't know me? I mean, if you're in Ireland, you probably know me at this stage. I'm Dwane. I run a PlasticraicGaming YouTube channel that I occasionally upload to, and I help run competitive events in Ireland as part of the scene there. Basically, there's been competitions being run in Ireland for, since the 90s. Down in Limerick and such. So the crew down in Limerick, down the Gathering, they've been running competitions for a long time, and they've trusted me to run the Irish Nationals, which is usually run down there, but this year they've trusted me for the second time to run it up in Dublin. And myself and a few colleagues in Dublin are getting ready for the Munster Championship. So we've actually organised Ireland, the BattleTech Ireland community, which has Gary, myself and a few lads from Dublin and the lads from Limerick. There's chaps from the Wee Gamers in Northern Ireland as well, and there's a group out in Galway. Basically, we have 4 provinces of Ireland. We have 4 provincial tournaments, and then we'll have a national tournament at the end of it with the 4 provincial, 4 champions. They earn free entry into the national competition in Ireland. And the format is run with the open format, which is a format that's been developed by the community for, 15, 20 years. So we have guys from the UK, Scotland and Ireland. They used to play Mech Force UK format, where it was, the traditional sort of, you'd build a list out of whatever mechs you wanted, but the guys got kind of bored of it, because what would happen was there was several issues with the previous formats where someone could win a round by doing some damage to your mech and then just, avoiding you for the rest of the game, or they would see the same sort of mechs again and again and again, the very sort of optimum designed mechs.
Yeah.
They would see time and again. So that's how they came about the open format, developing it, where it's pre-selected. So there is a selection, but it's sort of more restricted. So you're given, usually it's 4 rounds. In the first round of the tournament, it will be a single mech round. So there'll be 6 mechs to pick from, and you will pick one of the 6 mechs to play your round. And how the points are scored as well for the competition, it's all based on damage. So it promotes aggression. In order to score maximum points, you have to kill your opponent. There are no points for, doing a little bit of damage and hanging back or holding objectives. You're purely there to annihilate each other and get through to the next round. You can have, lose a round, depending on the way the damage and the format. So people have lost rounds and then won the competition. So, the first round is usually, if it's a single mech, it's 50 points. And 3 more rounds after that are usually a pair of mechs where you could score a maximum of 100 points. So if you have a bad first round, you're not totally out of it, know. So it's an interesting format. It's pretty cool.
Cool. Well, we'll probably have a chance to talk a little bit more detail, although that was pretty detailed anyway, about some more of the format going forward. I think you've got some more interesting kind of stuff for us in the main segment about. So I think some of the stuff you've got lined up, haven't you, for the Irish one?
Yeah, we have the date and a venue when we're doing the mechs. What we're doing is we're looking at the Munster one, which is coming up soon.
Cool.
So we're having a look at the mechs there. I'll be recording a video with some of the lads here tomorrow, actually.
Oh, super.
As of the recording of this one, and we're going to be looking at the mechs and just going through the discussion of what mechs each of us would prefer in the context of that round of mechs, what they're going to be fighting against, what they're matched against.
Super. Cool. But yeah, but while we're talking anyway, Dwane, so can we get some? We'll get some kind of generic podcast questions to ask you, or BattleTech generic questions anyway. So, do you have a preference on battle mech? Do you have a favorite battle mech, Dwane?
I like the Wolverine. I really do like the Wolverine, but I have a terrible soft spot for the Urban mech. It's just it's hilariously terrible.
I love it.
You can't not love the Orby. And I'm fond of the Banshee as well for its Irish folklore namesake. So, and it's a decent mech.
Super. I was going to say the Wolverine, it's such an efficient mech and it's so good at what it does, but I just don't like the model. But I do like the Urban mech, and the Banshee is really cool. And do you have... Yeah, do you have a preference or like a favorite unit currently, or anything you're kind of working on, or you kind of lean towards?
I think like most people, I made my own unit. So like the Black Hand Brigade, I called them. That was my first sort of merc unit that I made, and I do I do tournament colors as like the parade colors sort of. So that's the color I do my units in, or sort of the Irish tricolour, the green, white, and orange.
Yes,
and that's
cool.
what I like. But I like all of them. I have a soft spot for the bad guys, I suppose. Like I like Smoke Jaguar and Clan Jade Falcon. It's like everyone in BattleTech's a bad guy, but you might as well lean into it.
Yeah, you might. I mean? It's nice to be able to bring the force that you can. That you're going to be in probably a lot of the events and stuff, or a lot of the some of the stories and stuff. So it's nice to be able, if you have those forces, at least you'll be able to play one of the sides, even if it's not the one people like the most.
Definitely, I don't mind being the up for a bit of fun.
Exactly. I suppose lastly, probably the question I should have asked first is, do you have like a bit more of a kind of intro of how you got into BattleTech as well? So do you have where you got into it, or
how did I got into battle? Well, I got into wargaming long before I got into BattleTech. So I've been wargaming since about 97, and I was into 40k in a big way for a long time.
Yeah,
I got introduced to BattleTech. I suppose my first exposure to it was the cartoon in the 90s. I remember going around in the schoolyard pretending to be mechs with my friends. But the game itself, my friends had various video games going through secondary school. And then in the early 2000s, some of the lads that I know now, I've known them for a long time, were, they gave me some mechs to get me into the game. I really liked the game, but back then, trying to get a hold of mechs, they were expensive. The molds for them were really dated looking.
Yeah, even then they did show their age a bit.
Oh yeah, and then some of the box sets that came out and around that time that had plastics, the plastics were woeful, absolutely terrible. I think it was I didn't really get seriously into BattleTech or fall as deeply into it as I think it was 2018 when they started to bring out the new plastics. So like the new beginner box set in the game of Armored Combat. My friends who were like super into BattleTech were telling me, look, here's a prototype, here's the art of the redesign. I think it was the Warhammer was the mech they did first.
Yeah.
Here's a redesign of the interpretation of what they're going to be doing, and it's all going to be in plastic. And as soon as they said the whole new line of miniatures were going to be in plastic and we could get a hold of them, that was it. I was like, great, grand, this is my main war game now. I love the rule set, I always have.
Yeah.
We'll actually be able to get them, and then that's it. So
yeah, I think I had a similar kind of thing when I played it when I was younger, probably more in the 2000s. One of the stores I played at, they were quite keen on it and had the stock in. But I think the same as you, I've gone away from it, like the same with 40k when you kind of have that kind of little bit away. But then when I came back and I saw that the stuff was in plastic, and as you said, it's actually something you'll be able to get hold of, and there's now boxes rather than having to buy blisters and try and find books and stuff. It was definitely something that it was more appealing that you could get hold of the stuff, and it was looking tidier and fancier, because the metal models have character to them, but I think the newer stuff has that character, but also looks reasonably good. And I think I wouldn't say it was embarrassing to use the older models, but it looks like a more of a modern war game. I'm sure Dom will disagree with that, but I think it definitely looks the part now anyway. But yeah,
no, that's better.
well, cool. But yeah, so what we'll probably do is just quickly go through a bit of what we've been up to hobby wise. It won't be a lot because it's not actually been that long since we recorded. I think we recorded on Wednesday, so it's only been 3 days, and then we'll go through the news, which won't have changed too much because it's only been a couple of days. But yeah,
It's also very hot in the UK right now.
Yeah,
so painting is sort of almost off the table.
what's the weather like for you, Dwane? Is it? I assume it's got to be similar-ish.
Oh, jeez, yeah, I'm bleeding melting over here. It's sweltering. Ireland's like UK in that regard, in that like we've high humidity.
Yeah.
So like when we get temperatures like we're getting now, you're just melting. You're just sticking to yourself. It's bleeding horrible. But sure, we'll be giving out if it was raining or snowing. Sure, there's no winning, you know.
Yeah, we got to complain regardless. there's
That's
no
not past time.
listen. There's no perfect weather for us. But yeah, as I said anyway, hobby progress for us. I'll start with myself. There's no hobby progress because it's as you said, it's a bit hot. And also, it's not been very long. I think the only hobby I think I've really been doing is playing a game on Thursday. Played a game against Tom's Rolling Thunder Company using Alpha Strike. So we got him to actually play some Alpha Strike, which it went okay. Tom was complaining because I was trying to use indirect fire, and I had to skill up my force so he could actually keep track of his forces. Because I think after building my force, I was 350 PV, and I think you were 450, weren't you, Tom?
Yeah, I was 450 on the nose.
Yeah, so I was like, I need to get some more points. I'll just push up their skill a little bit. I didn't think it went too badly. I know you weren't too keen on the skill 1 stalker.
It's just when you say you wanted to play something that was like thematic, and then I roll up with my skill 6 Ostrock, and you have a skill 1 stalker. I'm like, well,
I would. It was my force was definitely more of a mercenary force, as in I definitely didn't have many assault mechs or anything particularly good. You've got all the military funding of your force. You got quite a few assault mechs. I think that's where your points built up quite quickly. Yeah, but I think next time I might need to have some reinforced lances to kind of make sure I've got enough points to keep up with Tom without having the most elite forces that the Uniosphere has ever seen.
Well, never seen. You're right. Yeah. The Uniosphere has never seen them.
Yeah, not that kind of level of pilot for a while. But yeah, but it was quite fun anyway. I was interested in trying out some of the indirect fire. It was nice just playing some Alpha Strike, just trying something a little bit different, getting to throw some hovercraft, some combined arms in without having to think about it too much. But yeah, I think even though we grumbled, I think we had a fun time, didn't we, Tom?
Oh no, I had a terrible. No, of course it was fun. Super. Of course it was fun. Of course, I love playing games with you, Lewis.
Super.
As much as I do grumble, it's always a treat.
Oh, super. Well, that's pretty much me. Do you want to move on to you, Tom? Considering you're talking anyway.
Oh my god, you can't get me to shut up. I've actually done a bit of hobby.
What? How?
I know.
It's been like 2 days.
It has. I did it mostly yesterday evening while I was watching some TV, but I've managed to paint up. So amongst my hobby butterflyness, I do actually play many different games, but I've sort of did a bit of Infinity and then I kind of let it lie for a bit. But I have painted up my JSA, or Japanese Secessionist Army, Oban list for Infinity using I went for a nice monochromatic. Well, originally I was going to do monochromatic, kind of like a noir comic book look, but then realised that was a lot of effort, and so instead just went for a nice desaturated colour scheme.
Yeah.
Because all of the people in the list are ninjas.
Yeah.
So they all have a raw mimetism, which makes it hard for people to see them. So I desaturated all the colours so people wouldn't, it's harder to see them because they're ninjas. So that was cool.
Yeah.
So I just finished that up today. And then I'm currently, as we speak, putting some colours on my Highgarden Pikeman for A Song of Ice and Fire for Renly Baratheon's force. So I've actually been trooping along a little bit, but I am also melting. So
been drawn away into another game again. How long into that you start another game, Tom?
Dom's already tried to get me into Marvel Crisis Protocol this week, so I'm a weak man. A weak-willed man.
If a van pulled up outside with War Games inside, we wouldn't see you again. Oh dear.
No, I'm the worst. It's just there are too many cool war games that I want to play because everything's really cool and the models are really cool, and I'm also just like the worst
The worst. But yeah,
at saying no.
but yeah. As you said, obviously, I think I assume your only games you played is against the one we talked about against me. I don't know if you've had time for any more games.
Oh God, no! I came back from work yesterday. I got back from work like 3:30 yesterday, and I literally just fell asleep.
Yeah,
I didn't wake up until like 8. I don't know whether I had like heat exhaustion or whatever it was, but
it was it was that drink that I gave you, Tom. That's what it was.
Jesus Christ, Lewis, no, I just I had a nap and then I did some painting last night and then I did some painting this morning. But yeah,
Cool.
Too warm. It's too warm.
We'll move across to. Should we move across to Nathan?
Yeah, son. So the main hobby that I've been getting done is that I've been paying a night gear and a black lantern for my Jade Falcons. And I've actually got all the green down. Well, at least the green and then a wash stone. And now I need to redo the green to make it, well, nice and green. Yeah. And then I had to paint them up because I had a game against Owen, who plays down our local. And he was running Hell's Horses. It was a 12k game, which I managed to win. So yeah, just another victory for the Jade Falcons. Nothing shocking, especially against the Hell's Horses.
Yeah.
And that pretty much wraps up my hobby for the week. Yeah.
Cool. And Dom, I saw you playing some Marvel Crisis Protocol the other day.
Yeah, no, still just playing my Marvel Crisis Protocol game. Still haven't ventured out into BattleTech. You know what it is? I think it's your arguments aren't very convincing. I think you need to do better.
You can't keep saying, giving us new hurdles to overcome every week. You said no one wants to play with you and people want to play with you. And then you give us a new hurdle every week, Dom. You're going to have to.
I think
one day you're going to play.
Specifically, Lewis, I think you are letting the side down out of everybody here. I think Tom, Nathan, even Dwane, to be honest, they're all convincing me to play BattleTech more than you are right now.
You can't just put it all on me. I feel so.
You know what it is, right? You know what it is.
I don't know what it is. Tell me.
So listeners will remember the episode where we built our own lances.
Yeah.
Right. And your lance was so bad.
It's not that bad.
It's made me not want to play BattleTech. It's put me off.
To be fair, it was a -3 out of 10 lance, so you know.
It's become.
I can see why Dom wouldn't want to play with you.
It's become a -18 last time someone talked about it. It's not that bad. It's reasonably competent. It's just not particularly good at anything.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, yeah, so other than that, I've done a bit of painting as well, as much as I can in the heat. And by the way, if you're an American,
I'm not.
Don't comment on the fact that we're British
and
that we can't handle a little bit of heat. I'm doing it again because if it comes to it, I'm ready for blows.
No,
I'm not talking about those kind of blows.
Don't offer to fight people. Listen to the podcast, please, please.
Now, the last war you fought against them didn't work out too well, lads.
I'm ready for blows. I'm ready for blows over my lack of central heating. I've got a small fan.
I'm ready to burn the White House down again. Let's go.
Dom, they're going to
be half as warm as England right now.
Dom, they're going to throw the tea in the harbour because of this. You've ruined it all again.
I'm sorry. I apologise to all our American viewers. All one of you. I'm sure will be very disappointed.
There's more than one. It's probably two.
Probably two.
So yeah. So that's all your hobby anyway, Dom. Being angry at the Americans and doing some Marvel Crisis Protocol.
That's my entire. That's when you put it like that. That's the entirety of the hobby. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Cool. Well, Dwane, do you want to? Have you got any hobby you've been up to this week that you are happy to discuss? It's not a secret or anything like that.
Oh, well, my problem is I haven't actually been getting any hobby done. I've been more sort of working on the hobby realm. So I've been drilling holes in walls and creating the adapters for like Cat5 cables and running Ethernet cables and stuff just to get the hobby room sort of set up. I moved into a new apartment a couple of months ago and I'm still in the process of, trying to sort out a 3D printer and get the hobby wall sorted and the hobby room sorted. So that's what's been keeping me busy. I don't actually have the paint out yet. Eventually there will be a glorious wall of miniature paints to pick from that'll look cracking as a background, but not yet. Baby steps for getting there.
I mean, that's a hell of a lot of more hobby effort than any of us have been putting in this week, man.
It definitely counts as hobby, that does. But yeah, But I look forward to, I suppose, seeing that in the background anyway. The paint walls. My hobby shed garage room thing is it's full of mold and death at the moment. So one day I might get in there. But yeah,
It does worry me that your thing is full of mold and death.
it's because it was half converted before I bought the house, and they've converted it so it leaks, but then doesn't let the water back out. So it just gets full of water and doesn't breathe very well. But I think it's being cleared a bit more now, so hopefully at some point I'll be able to get rid of the leaks that let the water in, and then get rid of all the nasty mold and put the electrics
Welcome
back
to the
in.
BattleTech podcast of your dreams, where we discuss Lewis's garage for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Cool. Anyway, enough of my garage. Let's talk about the news. And I don't know, there's been no news because it's only been like 3 days. So there's nothing new that I know of. Is there anything you know of, Dwane? Anything new you've seen?
Well, hobby-wise, I'm trying to think, did I get anything new in for the store? We've had, like, the technical blueprints got restocked. We got, like, Merc box sets and stuff. But news-wise, nothing crazy comes to mind.
I forgot.
Game-related,
Yeah.
that is. Game-related.
Forgot to mention as well, obviously, Dwane, you're able to get stock in from actual European distributors, so you can actually have stock that we won't see for like 4 or 5 months.
Oh yeah, I run. So yeah, that's another interesting thing where it's like when we used to do demo games a few years ago. Well, we still do. We do demo games at like games conventions and college conventions and stuff. And it was just after COVID when we were doing them, and I was like, none of the local stores were really stocking BattleTech. And I was like, well, nobody's stocking it. We're introducing people to a game. They're falling in love with it, but they can't get their hands on it. So I started ordering in like the core box sets, just so that when we teach people the game, we could, sell them the board game. Be like, here, you love it now. There you are. There's your box set, and away you go.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of snowballed from there, yourself.
So
It's all BattleTech. It's mostly BattleTech,
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Right, but I have to check your store to see what stuff's in stock. If we can't get anything locally, I was hoping that in the UK, after the the restrictions for UK purchases, that we'd get some stock in, but it seems there's none available. But I think yourself, you're able to at least get something and get the stuff we won't be able to.
Yeah, no, we have. I think we've most of the new Merc stuff. So we've most of the new Mercenary box sets. I think we only just got the Objective box set, the one with the long tom and stuff. So I only just got that one in there, but I think we have most of the other ones. There's like the Revenant Command, is it that box set? The Davian Cavalry box. There was like a heavy Davian one as well. What's the new stuff? Like the city maps. We got like the Savannah paper maps, neoprenes as well. Neoprenes for the city maps, both of them. Yeah, that's sort of the latest stuff. Salvage boxes are a bit few and far between. We've only gotten like the Savannah Master one. We've gotten, what else? We got Battlefield Support at one stage, but the Merc ones, I've ordered a rake load of them, but just with the distributors, they just, they're out of stock before, there'd be a print run done, and like if someone was to drop a salvage box on the ground, it wouldn't hit the floor, like, you know what I mean? They're such high demand.
They're impossible to find, aren't they? But
that's even an expo, like
couldn't get that at all. But obviously for the UK listeners, is that something that do you ship abroad into the foreign lands of the UK, or are you selling mostly to Ireland at the moment?
Mostly to Ireland at the moment. In the future, I will, because so many people in the UK have asked me about it.
Yeah,
I've looked into it previously, but the shipping was just extortionate. Like to ship stuff over to the UK. So I'll definitely have to look into it, because there's quite a lot of my UK mates as well have asked me about it, and quite a lot of the people, as soon as I say, oh yeah, we BattleTech, we have BattleTech stuff in Ireland, there seems to be a high demand for folks based in the UK, that there's a lot of box sets they can't get. So it'll have to be something I'll look into. Not something we do at the moment, but in the future, yeah.
Cool. Well, that's something we'll keep track with you if that's something you do branch into, because I'm sure it's something we'd be keen on to actually get stock of something, because it's like a wasteland for us.
Well, being able to buy stuff without having to go to America for it would be a great boon.
Yes.
Even for like the mercenary box, you have to go to some like backwaters section of Birmingham and find one store there that finally actually has a single box of it.
Yeah, it is.
You didn't need to say Backwater when you were referencing Birmingham.
Yeah, but Birmingham's like that anyway. That's all of Birmingham. But yeah, cool. But yeah, like as we said, apart from obviously Dwane getting some cool stock in, which is cool, there's not much new for us really. I don't think since last episode. Events wise, it's pretty much the same events I think we had last time. I think there's some events down at, where was it? Tabletop Republic. They've got a bunch of BattleTech events popping up, which is cool. Our friends, well, quickly go through the list. If you've listened last week, it's going to be very similar. Our friends at Shape Battle Roll have got an event going on the 28th of June. That's a Mercenaries Interlands event, so keep an eye on that. Or message them if you're interested in that, or let us know and we can put you in contact. There's a 500 PV game, Alpha Strike game going on at Darksphere Games on the 12th of July.
It's quite a large game.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few at 500 PV. It seems to be quite popular. There's a casual BattleTech day down at Firestorm Games. Obviously, you guys have been down to the previous one, Tom and Nathan. I think
they're those lads are a good time, so I'd recommend it.
Looks like they're mostly playing at the moment 6 to 8K classic BattleTech, but obviously I think if you speak to them, you can find out what they're up to on the day. There's another 500 point Alpha Strike game happening at Ponder's End. Yeah. After that, we've got the Irish Nationals, which we'll have someone who can talk about that shortly in the main section. That's on the 13th of December. I'm hoping that's correct.
The 14th of September.
September, there we go. It's because I'm looking. I was testing you there, Dwane. Test that was. Definitely. After that, got on the 20th of October, got Periphery Assault, which is going to be a Alpha Strike one-day tournament run by our friends at Towson Periphery. That's going to be at the George Alcock Centre in Peterborough. And lastly, for the events, this one's in December, the 6th of December, Operation Bulldog, also at Ponder's End, 500 PV Alpha Strike game. So if you're interested in any of those, obviously you can, if you look them up or let us know, I can put you in contact with the right people anyway. It's just cool. There's so many cool events spread across the country. A lot of it in London, though, at the moment, which isn't a bad thing. So
Lewis, am I right in thinking that Hexperts might be trying to put something on soon?
Oh, maybe. It's what we're doing. And at the moment, we're looking at trying to find a fun venue. So we are looking to do a mercenary event, probably a one-day thing. I'm visiting tomorrow because there's an event there anyway. The Midlands Air Museum, they've got a modelling event on, as in modelling for war game models, not the other kind of modelling. But they also they have a venue that we can play games in, which looks like it might be fun. So I'm just going to see if we can put that together, maybe go and play some games and look at some cool aircraft. But I've not got anything confirmed with that. So if you don't see that appearing in the near future, that's probably, there may have been some complications. But it all sounds good so far, though. The kind of tendrils are put out to try and put things into place. So obviously we'll let you know when it's coming together. But there may actually be a Hexpert event going on. And also, something I do forget to say is every week we're playing at Boarding Brum in Walsall, BattleTech games. So if you are in the Walsall, Birmingham area and would like to get some BattleTech in, obviously let us know. We're playing very regular. And I keep forgetting that we actually should mention that because we're mentioning everywhere else.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty much all the events that I've got listed. If you've got one that you want people to know about, let us know and we can talk about it. And I could probably talk about it in a bit more quicker, a bit better detail than I have now. This is just a quick recap. But yeah, cool. So we're going to pop to a break then, and then we'll come back to our main segment. I'll be chatting to Dwane about a little bit more detail about the goings on in Ireland. So catch you guys on the flip side. And we're back after the break. And we're going to talk about some of the goings on in Ireland in regards to BattleTech, and obviously also maybe talking about some of the gatherings. So, Dwane, as we've talked about probably on the break, is that we're kind of quite sheltered here at the Hexperts. We don't know about all the kind of happenings in the international world of BattleTech. Could you give us a bit of an idea of what goes on in is it the Emerald Isles? Would you call it the Emerald Isles?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, we still call it the Emerald Isle. Yeah, it's always green apparently. Yeah. And no, it's good crack here. As I was explaining to you at me intro that I just sort of decided to go off on a tangent about tournaments on. We've 4 provinces in Ireland. There's Ulster, Munster, Leinster and Connacht. myself and Lorcan, we run the Leinster tournament. Munster covers the Limerick area, which is where Gary and the Gathering run a tournament. Ulster is not most of Northern Ireland, and that is run by the Wee Gamers. We do drive up there for the crack. Those be a good event. And then Connacht, last year that was held in Dungeons and Donuts, which is in Galway City. I believe it's there again, but I haven't been given a date. We've run our Leinster tournament. So basically the champion from each of those provincial titles, so the champion from each province, it gets a ticket into the nationals. So that they've earned a ticket, they don't have to pay to enter the national competition, and they'll be seeded into the national competition so that we have, all of our champions in there playing for the title of national champion. And then whoever wins the Irish national champions then goes on to the European Championships, which I don't know where that is this year. I think it might be in Spain. I could be wrong. But there's a European Championship as well. So there's a European Championship that's held. Now, you don't have to win like a provincial championship to enter the Irish Nationals. You can still enter the Irish Nationals. And it's the same with the Europeans. It's just that the champions get a ticket. They get a free ticket to
it's comped. It's comped.
Yeah, it's comped. Okay. So they'll be comped so that, to promote them. Because we want them to come along, you know what I mean? So you want to see the champions fighting each other. They do be intense games. They're really good. Like, it does be good crack seeing like two top tier players fucking tearing lumps out of each other, especially if they get into like some of the final rounds. It does be a hell of a throwdown. But yeah, so we've run our Leinster one already. Myself and some of the other Dublin lads are getting ready for the Munster Championship, which is on in the Shannon Rowing Club in Limerick. It's being run by Gary and John Summers and the lads from The Gathering. The Gathering down in Limerick is owned by Gary Jackson. And as far as I'm aware, it is the oldest and longest running gaming store in Ireland. It's been going since the 90s. Next year will be its 30th anniversary of being open. So, there's a bit of history as well there. And everyone down in Limerick and that region and beyond knows Gary Jackson. He's a BattleTech man through and through. Died in the wool himself, and a few key personnel kept the banner flying.
Yeah,
in the dark days when after the fasa collapse and things died off for a bit, the lads were still running national championships, and that's how I sort of got into it. I basically saw that they were running a national championships down in the stadium down there, the rugby stadium. That name has avoided me at this moment in time. I'm going to kick myself later.
Yeah.
So they were running a national championships, and it was after COVID, and I was like, you know what? I was asking the lads, I was like, have you been down to Limerick? What's the story with this format? Because myself at the time, I was looking at a tournament format, and I was like, what do you mean the mechs are pre-picked? I thought it was really odd that the mech choices in each round would be pre-picked.
Yeah, so we
pick your own mech.
Yeah, we've had that. We've had the same. That was kind of our main kind of hesitation around it. Obviously, we're hoping today that you'll tell us why this is actually the more balanced choice.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I can understand. That was my impression before I went to my first event. Was what's the story with this? What do you mean you don't get to pick your own mech? But that's the thing, is like this open format has been developed by the BattleTech fans over decades. Like they've played through. So you've guys from Scotland and England and Ireland have all inputted in. I mean, even further afield now, we have Germany's inputting and Spain. So even, the format that we have, we're still evolving, but it's mostly there, if you get what I'm saying. But basically, those guys used to be part of like Mech Force UK and such, and back in the day. And the problem that they had was the tournament format. Basically, someone could kill one of your mechs and then avoid you for the rest of the game, and they would win the round. So, it was a bit anticlimactic. They'd see the same sort of 16 or so mechs or 14 mechs again and again. There's several like mech builds that are very meta. They're very lean. They're very optimized. When people were able to pick their own forces, they would do that, or they'd build some sort of off the wall gimmicky thing that would just sort of, oh well, I can't beat this. So I haven't prepared for this weird sort of thing. But it was mostly like that they would get the same mechs again and again and again, and it would get kind of boring. So they developed this format where it was based about damage. So each round, there's 4 rounds. Typically, the first round won't be one mech. That'll be worth 50 points for the kill. And then the 3 other rounds will be pairs of mechs, and it'll be 100 points if you kill both mechs. Now, each mech will be worth a certain amount of points in each round, depending on what percentage of the BV of the pair of mechs that are being played. So if you've got like a Locust and then you've got like an Atlas, like depending on the BV that they've aimed towards and the skill level they've given them, you know, the Atlas is going to be worth more if you kill it than if you kill the Locust per points in the round. And the points that you earn, there is a score sheet. Having run through a couple of tournaments now, I can pretty much run through it just looking at a mega. I don't even need it at this stage, but it's all about damage. You'll get points for doing damage if an armor location is damaged. You'll get extra points if you do internal damage. You start earning the big points when you start knocking limbs off, scoring crits, scoring pilot hits, and if you get a kill, that's when you get like 100% of a mech, its value in that round. So it's about aggression. You're getting in there, you're doing the damage. Now, there's nothing to say that you can't, you're not going to be wily about how you do it. Obviously, for you to do the most damage output with your pair of mechs, you're going to try and keep them alive as long as you want. So there is some sort of conservation of self as well there. But it is about aggression. You're scoring points for getting kills. There's no point in hiding in the back or sitting on objectives and waiting for the other guy or other gimmicky stuff. It's literally, get stuck in. That's how you're going to get it. They're timed rounds as well. They're usually like an hour and 45. So you're on a time limit for each round. And there's 4 rounds through the day. And it is a marathon. Doing 4 intensive games through the tournament. By the end of the tournament, you're zonked. I always get kind of amazed that, you can end up that sort of drained from playing a game, but it's because your brain, you're trying to think, okay, if I move here, then possibly my opponent might go there, and then you're trying to think the next round in advance as well, or 2 or 3 rounds in advance, and if I win initiative, I'm going to go onto this position and be aggressive. If I lose initiative, I'll pull back to this other position.
Is it like a proper get there at 9 o'clock, leave there like 5 o'clock in the afternoon type?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I think we're due for registration 10 o'clock for the Munsters between lunch breaks and whatever else. I think it goes on till 7:30. There's an hour for lunch break. There's another break in between. But it is like it's timed. You're given specific time slots for, go have your lunch, whatever. And then the rounds. Yeah, the rounds are timed. Yeah, listen, I wish I got me lunch break at the same time every time of the day in work, but it's not how it works. But but with the BattleTech tournaments, yeah, it's so like I said, when I first saw them, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. But once you play them and once you get into them, you realize what they're actually testing is they're not testing. It's not just about who knows what the best mechs are. There's an element of that. There's an element of, if there's 6 mechs, what one am I going to pick? I might pick an assault mech, but its gunnery is only 4 and its piloting's only 4. Or I might pick the 75-ton mech, where it's got gunnery 2 and piloting 2. It's got a bit better movement, but it doesn't have the armor points. You know what I mean? And then what you're looking at then is you're looking at the 6 mechs in that round and you're comparing them against each other. And you're also looking at the play style that you like playing, what tech levels are in them, what weapons are in them. So you might be looking at damage output where it's like, oh, potentially, this mech can output 60 points of damage, but it's with 3 weapons. Or you might look at another mech and it can do up to 45 points of damage or 50 points of damage, but it's across more guns. You're looking at whether mechs have XL engines, where they're using jump jets, if there's TSM involved. You know what I mean? You're looking at the tonnage in the mech, the movement. You're looking at the mechs that are there, and you're looking at what do I like, what fits my play style, how does it compare, how am I going to handle the other mechs that are there. So the format is testing the player. It's testing the player and their skill level, because you'll go through and there'll there might be a jihad round, so it's mechs from the jihad, and they'll all be from the same round. There's usually a theme to each round. It might be like there's a specific conflict.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the, Fourth Succession War round, okay, in Lao space, so that'll be themed. The mechs will have a theme around them where it's that specific thing. It might be, that all the mechs have AC-20s or something like that, or there might be a quad mech round, or, it could be any sort of
So
any sort of Republic of this fit. There'll be usually there's a theme for each round, and then that'll give you the context of the mechs and why those mechs have been picked. You know what I mean? And then you just have to work off that context. Usually there's different tech levels as well. So each different rounds will have different tech levels. Sometimes they might be like, hey, this is a close combat round. Every mech in this round has a hatchet or an axe or a sword. You know what I mean? Have at it, and they might tailor them to mechs. So they might make their gunnery skill terrible, but the piloting like shit hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get in there and you just tear lumps out of each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or there might be like a long range sniper game, or a close brawl game. It just depends on who the tournament organizer, what they decided to do for each round. But usually there's a good selection of mechs, and you're finding it hard to decide which mechs to pick. Like for the monsters, I'm looking at there are 6 mechs in the first round, and there's a few of them that I'm looking at. So there's a 70-ton avatar, there is a 70-ton diva, there's an 85-ton seraph. Then there's what's this one? 100-ton archangel. There's a grand titan, which is another 100-tonner. And then there's a titan, which is a 100-tonner. Now, that is 6 mechs to pick from for that first round. And the skill levels are adjusted then. So, the mechs that are lighter in tonnage don't have as much armor. They may not have as many weapons, but you can look at them and you can go, the Avatar has a 2-2 pilot in it. Whereas if I look at the Titan 2, that one has a 3-3 pilot in it, and the Grand Titan has a 4-3 pilot in it, because it's taken into consideration, bigger mechs in the BV. So they're BV balanced as well. It just depends what you want to do. Do you want to be nuts? Do you want to go balls to the wall and go in with your LB-20X and hope you get a load of shots to the head? I mean, well, then go for the Avatar, or you taking the safe bit where you want to go with a mech that's got a shed load of hit points, and you want to be slower going in. Well, then you might pick the Grand Titan with all of its hardened points, where it's going to take 2 critical hits to knock something out. You know what I mean? So it depends what your style is. What's your play style? Are you aggressive? Do you like assault mechs? This goes back to me liking the Wolverine. I like the Wolverine mech because I like the 585.
Yeah.
It's got enough armor to take a bit of a hit. It's got good maneuverability for its tonnage, and it has decent output. I don't typically like playing assault mechs. I find them kind of boring. So even in that, I'd look at some of the mechs and some of the choices, and the playstyle that I have, I'll know which ones. It's like, oh yeah, well, this might be the safe bet, but I really like this mech, and it's a bit of a gamble, but sure, it'll be grey crack,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do like it. It sounds a lot more strategic than just take whatever's got the best damage and the best tier, man.
Definitely not.
You just get your selection, and even if you go, I prefer the assault mech. I'm going assault mech and a light mech. Someone else might look at it and go, actually, I think I can make these 2 work better. So it's a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm getting the impression it's a hell of a lot more player skill.
Yeah.
Balanced in the way of just having it's more playstyle versus playstyle than just who needs the lowest number to roll on both sides.
I gathered as well. A lot of the games they're on single map sheets, and you're playing rounds with either single mechs or double mechs, or maybe a mech in a vehicle. Is that usually the kind of the way the rounds go?
The format is it'll be on a neoprene size mat. So either it's 2 single maps.
Yeah.
So it's 2 paper maps or 1 single neoprene map is the size that we use. And you don't know what map you're going to be playing on beforehand. Typically, if they're using the paper maps, what they tend to do is typically you have one side of the map, one of the paper maps is typically kind of open, and one of them tends to have a bit more terrain. So you have a mixed bag as well. So you're rolling to see to pick sides. So you can pick side on, or you can pick lengthways. Whoever wins that roll, and then you can roll for initiative. So the games can be varied. You could end up with anything. You can end up with mechs that are literally running straight into the middle on the first round and trying to kick the legs off each other, or you could have them playing lengthways where they're trying to snipe each other out of it, or just LRM spamming each other. You know what I mean? I've had all sorts of games playing BattleTech Nationals. Whether they're in Scotland was the last one I went to. That was really good crack. I enjoyed that. I've played in the English Nationals, the Irish here. I've lots of the provincial titles as well played in. It's good fun. There's tournaments that happen in Germany as well. The Germans have their ones. They've had in Spain as well. So there's a lot of tournaments, and the community is very international. So we have lads from Scotland, we have lads from England. Like when I'm organising the nationals here, that's in Dublin in September. And I know that, some of the German lads are going to come, some of the English lads, some of the Scots will come, maybe a couple of Spanish lads will come along. But even for the Munster tournament, going down to going down to Gary and at the gathering, like going to Limerick is a whole experience in and of itself, like just the crack. Because what we do, you go for the tournament and then we're going out to the pubs afterwards, or we're going out and about and we'll see a bit of history. We'll see the city, King John's Castle, or, we'll be shown different parts along the Shannon, or so there's a lot of history in and around most of the regions. And, us being wargamers, we typically like military history and history. So going to the English Nationals when it was in Leeds, a lot of them went to the Leeds Arsenal, and checked that out.
I would highly recommend Leeds Arsenal. It's lovely.
I missed out. I was kicking myself. I managed to.
It's so good. There's a bunch of really nice exhibits there. There's a bunch of Civil War stuff as well, which is kind of I think it's the largest Civil War exhibit in the UK. I want to say something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So obviously, as you said, it's the vans are going to be a mech, 2 mechs, maybe a vehicle on the obviously neoprene or 2 map sheets. So you got your 4 rounds in a day, and like you said, then you're looking to be the winner of the event. So most of them is, and I know you said that you win you obviously for the Irish kind of events, a lot of them lead up to getting tickets towards the nationals. Prizes wise, is it more kind of bragging rights and obviously getting that entrance to the nationals, or is there anything else that people get for winning some of these events? So is it more that bragging rights?
Yeah, well, look, there's bragging rights, but no one really brags. We have Gary from the Gathering. His contribution to the community, being the absolute legend that he is he gets Liscanner slate, so slate from County Clare, and he gets trophies made. So they're slate trophies that are made for each provincial area and the Irish Nationals. So it's Irish slate and Irish made trophies made for each of the provincial champions and the national Irish champion. Now Gary, he gets them for us. He that's part of his contribution. Obviously, he's contributed so much over the years and still continues to. But that's his sort of extra thank you to the community. So they're really. I have won. I managed to win the Connacht Championship in 2023. I have won, and it's brilliant. It lives on the shelf, pride of place. One of my friends, Mark Hall, has actually won quite a few provincial titles on the nationals. Gary's won a few as well. My friend Lorcan's won one as well. They're great. They're absolutely amazing trophies. So there'll be trophies to be won for first place. There will be prizes as well. There'll be prize support, whether that'll be box sets, challenge coins. There might be dice, there's salvage boxes. Usually we run a painting competition as well separately, so that people have, they can enter a painting competition and there'll be prizes for that. And there's a prize given for second last place, number 1. So that the idea behind that being that's, if there was a prize for last place, that people can engineer it and try and throw it. There's not really a prize for, you can't really finagle second last place, and then last place typically earns the wooden spoon for last place. But there does be a selection of prizes given out. And usually there's a painting competition, so you get to see some absolutely cracking paint jobs for mechs as well. Like,
super. As I say, it sounds. Keep selling it to us, Dwane. He's selling it to us too well.
It sells.
It's
This is the thing. I don't have to sell it. It sells itself.
I
It's
know.
like once you've seen it, you're like, I want some of that.
Yeah, it's
So
I say I'm sure you're about to echo what you're about to say, Tom. We're generally not. Me and Tom generally aren't very competitive players, and we don't go to many tournaments. I think
You'd be quite fooled by how they play, though.
no, that's lies, deceit. But yeah, sorry, interrupted you, Tom. Anyway, but carry on what you were saying.
no, it's fine. Sorry, I was. Yeah, I am going to echo that Lewis and I aren't particularly competitive. I was just going to ask a bit of a logistical question. So you did mention the 6 mechs that you could choose from. Now I know for a fact that most of those are not available in plastic right now. So have you found that people coming to these events have found it prohibitive to choose certain mechs because of their kind of obscurity?
Oh, you can proxy mechs.
Okay.
My tournament mechs are a little mech and a large mech, and the little mech is an Orban mech painted in my tournament colours, and the large mech is a Banshee painted in my tournament colours. Now, if the mech doesn't have a plastic mech, or I don't own it, that's what I use. You can literally buy a beginner box set and use the 2 mechs in the beginner box set to play in the tournaments. They don't have to be painted, but you're not going to win a painting competition with them then. They don't have to be painted, but you could literally rock up to a tournament. If there was still a space available, pay in, buy a beginner box set and start playing straight away.
Okay.
It is proxy friendly. Because not even if you look at the Total Warfare rulebook, BattleTech is a very proxy friendly game, and that's because not every unit has a physical miniature.
I mean, yeah, even the beginner box comes with cardboard pushouts.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Has anyone ever been so cheeky to enter one of the cardboard pushouts?
I haven't seen any of the cardboard pushouts on the table yet.
That would be funny.
Now that you've mentioned it, I'm sure someone will give it a bash.
It was more just a question around the fact that obviously, I'm very much into trying to get as WYSIWYG as possible. I know Lewis is the same, and that's kind of part of our hobby. I didn't know whether there was a push, because we don't really interact with the more competitive side of it. It's good to hear that people aren't going to be prohibited from I can't take an Archangel because I don't have an Archangel model, because who does
yet
kind of thing. Yet it is coming out.
But even when it comes out, though, it's like if you don't own it, it's not. As long as you explain to your opponent, you have to remember when you're playing BattleTech, right? The thing that matters is the mech sheet. So when you're in the tournament, if you write down, right, so I have an Orban mech, I'm going to write Orban mech at the top of my Diva's mech sheet, right? That's what that is now. The Orban mech is the Diva, right?
Yeah.
And then that's it. See, this is the thing, when we talk about tournament formats, this is the pleasant thing that I discovered is the community around the open tournament format are super open, super friendly, and super welcoming, which is not what I expected for a tournament community at all. I was expecting sweaty, sort of cantankerous gatekeepers. Not the total opposite of that. Totally the opposite of that.
You know what? That's really good to hear, actually, because we played Heresy for quite a while, and we never really got super competitive with it. But it could be a little bit like that. There was definitely
a sweaty side.
There's definitely a sweaty side, and we also had people that would say, this is kind of where I got, I am making assumptions really, and that's not right, but that's sort of where I got the idea that they might not be very proxy friendly, because I know from personal experience, I've always tried to be as accurate as possible, but people that haven't have sort of, in the past, I've seen people have issue with that, even though, the model might be out of print or, stuff like that. So it's good to know that there is kind of a push to be a little bit more accepting.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. No, I understand the reservations as well. Like I said, I've been in wargaming since about 97. So, the whole WYSIWYG thing being pushed.
You know it all then. Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Some of the local lads will have a preference. Like if there's a new resculpt of a Thunderbolt, they'll want it because it'll, WYSIWYG, that specific variant, and they really want it. But when it comes
It also
to
look nice, yeah.
it'll look nice. Like, I mean, it's nice when you have, you know, the catapult with the 2 PPCs instead of the LRM launchers when you're using the variant with the 2 PPCs. It's a nice, but there's no enforcement of it. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Super duper. As I suppose a question for myself, which obviously I know you have mentioned, is obviously the idea with these, with the provincials and then going to the nationals, and then potentially going on to like the, I suppose, is it there's like a European kind of open kind of for all of the countries? Is that the kind of some people's aim is to kind of go up through that? I know you can just enter at the nationals, but for the main events, do you have to win a national to go to like the main European event, or is it like it just gives you kind of access to them, or how does that work? Is there like a lead up for like the slightly higher level kind of events, or is it pretty much anyone can turn up to them, and it's
You can book in. Yeah, you can book, like, you could use lads could rock up to the Europeans, like, you can book in a ticket. It's just that to help promote the champions, you know what I mean, to get to the events and to make it a bit more financially viable in some regard. And, you know, and the fact, you know, there's a bit of prestige with it, like where you've earned your ticket as well. Like, you know what I mean? You want to reward players who've put, you know, the effort into the game, and then promote them onto the likes of the Europeans. But yeah, no, it's not restrictive, the format, in that regard. You don't have to win a nationals to get into the Europeans, and you don't have to win a provincials to get into the nationals. It's just that those champions from those regional tournaments will be promoted up to national tournaments, and then from national tournament they'll be promoted up to the Europeans. That's just sort of to get them to go, because we like to see the champions at the tournaments. Like it's when you see guys.
Obviously, you can understand why. It's good to see the people that have won.
See the top tier players going at each other. It's
crazy.
It's something else. Like it's yeah. Just to watch, even as someone, you know, having been knocked out of tournaments. Like if we've done blood name tournaments at events and stuff like that, having been knocked out of tournaments or my game's over, and, you know, I'd go over just to watch players and see how they're playing and see what you can learn off them as well. Like, and the very open community, very inviting community. If there's more experienced players, you know what I mean? As long as they're not in the middle of their game and you're not interrupting them, like, you can ask people questions. They're very open. They're very helpful. You know what I mean? They're more than happy to share their decades of knowledge with you and talk about, you know, the game and what they enjoy, what you enjoy, that sort of thing. So, you know what I mean? I think that's why I delved into it as so much to the level that I have, is because there was a level of openness and acceptance there that I was kind of taken aback by. I did not expect it. And, you know, I just ended up investing myself to the level I have, because you put in so much and you get it back as well. Like, you get it back.
I think it's an important thing to mention. A lot of people have the opinion that tournaments will be these kind of sweaty, horrible, gatekeepy experiences. But as I am a competitive player, I play in a lot of events, mainly for Crisis Protocol, but also 40k and Fantasy. I play in a lot of events. I've never had an experience with a competitive player that I would put down to someone being sort of horrible or egregiously rude. Sure, you get different personality types and you get people that are maybe a little bit sharper than others, but you never get somebody that's outwardly horrible. It does happen, obviously, on occasion, but that's not the general atmosphere. If anything, it's more like a party atmosphere than it is a kind of serious, everyone sort of sweating it out atmosphere. I think, in particular, the thing that I was interested to hear about, Dwane, is what was it like? I mean, obviously you're standing on the shoulders of an already built community, but what's it like to develop a competitive community outside of the realms of support from Catalyst Game Labs? I mean, I look at games like X-Wing that have been effectively killed by Atomic Mass Games, but the community wants to keep it alive. Obviously, Middle-earth Strategy Battle, that was a game that's very, very popular, but it had very, very little competitive support by Games Workshop for many years, and that thrived, and now, you know, we've got a new edition, and that's super popular. So overall, what is it like, you know, being part of that community without that quote-unquote official support?
Without the official support, I mean, Catalyst, well, the Catalyst that aren't running the games, you have to remember that a lot of the tournament organisers might be demo agents themselves, the likes of Lorcan or myself. That's, how you came across us at UK Games Expo and such. For me, it doesn't really matter whether you've got like full support off the company or not. It's for me, like my impression is it's just being part of the community. If you get me, I think for me, I'm so used to it that this is, again, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. The guys have been doing this for decades, and there's that legacy there, and being part of that legacy, and more importantly, in my eyes, is preserving the legacy of those who came before you that built something up, and not just being like, throwing the baby out with the bathwater and be like, oh no, the way yous have done it, I don't like it. I'll do it this way instead for the sake of it, So for me, it's very important to preserve the legacy of gamers who've come before us and what they've developed, and to learn off of them, and being part of that community. For me, it's all community. So I just find it, with it being such an open community and so accepting, it's second nature. I don't think of whether there's official or a non-official capacity tournament-wise. For me, I see it as an integral part of the community, which is funny because I don't see myself as a competitive player. When we play BattleTech, I like playing narrative games. I like playing games where, like the last game I played with my friend, it was an ambush. So I'm trying to get a lance to break through a lance that he has at the far end of the table. And then 3 or 4 turns later, another lance comes on. So I'm outnumbered. But the whole point of the game is I'm trying to get mechs off the board. I'm not trying to kill stuff. I love that. Like, I love campaigns. I'm an absolute hooer for a campaign game. I love them. Love the idea of campaign games. Even when I was in my 40k days, I bought Battlefleet Gothic fleets so that we could fight Battlefleet Gothic, and then do like planetary assaults and drop our forces onto planets, and then fight using planetary empires, the map tiles. I bought all of that, man. That's what it is for me. It's like, it's narrative, it's campaign play. So the fact that I've gotten so much into the competitive scene, for me, just kind of tells me how much it's community more than competition.
Do you feel like you'd want that support from Catalyst Game Lads at this point? Do you feel like you kind of like it the way it is, or do you find it difficult that this is kind of, it's difficult without a unified set of rules? Obviously, back in the day, Warhammer Fantasy had its own comps, 40k had its own comps, and then sort of maybe, I think probably 6-7 years ago now, GW have come out with their own version of how you're supposed to play tournaments. I feel like that'd be helpful for you in order to run even bigger events, if you do worldwide events, for example, if everybody's to give them the same hymn sheet, or do you feel like it's not really necessary for you at this point?
I don't know. I don't think it really matters at this stage. I'm not saying that like getting the open format to be an official format promoted by Catalyst wouldn't be a boost. Like, that would be pretty cool. But I think it's all, it's up and running and it's got legs, and the fact that it's an international community, and it's been something that's been going on for decades now, long before I even got involved in it. I don't think it matters. You know what I mean? It would be helpful, but it's also not the end of the world.
It seems to me that it's one of those things where the actual restrictions and the competitions mean that if you turn up to these events, I'm sure this is something, obviously I know Don would probably agree with, this means that you can go there and you know what you're going to expect, and everyone's there expecting the same things, and there's no one's going to turn up with something that's going to break the rules because they're fixed to an extent of what they can do. So it means you can turn up, you know what's going to be, you know what roughly is going to be happening. It's more about playing games with people, seeing their skills, and then having a nice time while you're there. And then obviously, like you said, probably going around, having a look around the area and seeing what's fun to do around the area as well, which I think sounds, I think, as you said yourself, on paper, like that doesn't look like something I would enjoy, but then actually the things being more restricted, probably not the best word, but like more prescribed, means you don't need to worry, you're not going to have these bad surprises or feel bad moments, because it's designed to stop that happening, because everyone's kind of singing from the same hymn sheet kind of thing, which is is cool.
Pretty much.
Cool. That's very cool. It's obviously it's nice having obviously those provincial kind of lead ups to the nationals. I know, as you mentioned, I think there's a nationals for the for I suppose England and the UK this year, but I don't know much if there's like a provincial kind of thing like a leads up to it, which would be really cool to have in the community. There might be something, like I said, we're pretty sheltered where we are, but as far as I know, do you know anything about if there's a kind of a thing like that in the UK scene that we're just not aware of, Dwane, or is it something that's kind of fallen by the wayside in the recent years or never been there? Kind of
Not that I'm aware of currently. Like I said, I went to the Scottish Nationals that was on. I went to that. Is where we're June now, is it? Was it the end of April, the start of May?
Yeah.
Now, so that was filled with, good competition, iron brew, deep fried haggis and deep fried Mars bars, the whole shebang, getting to try Glasgow out. But yeah, no, I was trying to figure out if you have provinces in England or the UK, or you have counties, or
we have counties, yeah, or shires.
Yeah.
Right.
But it'd be nice to
would
have
a shire contain like multiple counties, or what way is that?
No, we'd probably have to have like the South, the Midlands, and the North. Just have 3 separate.
But that's the kind of thing that it might be happening, but as far as I'm aware, that doesn't happen in the UK. But
I thought there was a push at one point to try and get the English nationals at UK Games Expo, which didn't, for whatever reason, didn't happen. So as far as I'm aware, I don't think there is one at the moment. So that is something we need to work on.
Yeah,
there will be an open tournament at UK Games Expo next year. I can guarantee it.
But until then, we need to pay £50, hop over to Ireland and sneak in there.
Sneak it.
Get into the Irish Nationals. Look, this is why I put it right beside the airport, Nathan. You know what I mean? If you want to get yourself a cheap Ryanair flight and fly over for the day.
We were thinking about it. We were thinking about it.
Yeah, I think what we might be worth us doing is to actually steal one of the previous formats and just give it a go from the games, maybe locally, and see if it's the kind of things that we gel with, because it seems to be that it's people seem to be having such a good time when I see the pictures, and it's grows a community. But obviously it's something that we're lacking over here, but it seems to be doing great over in Ireland. It's a shame that we're not able to mirror that currently.
Like I said, I've had the Nationals run up by this. So there's like the Leeds Wargaming Club. They're a good crowd. They do great work as well. You have Andy up there, and a few. There's Arthur as well. There's
Arthur.
Good few decent lads that you have there. And like I said, I've been to the Nationals up in Leeds. That was good crack.
Yeah. It's not obviously not to disparage them, but it's more. I think it's just you've got such a cool idea with the provinces leading into the nationals. It's such a cool community. It's nice seeing that there is that kind of, what's the word? There's the audience for that kind of thing does exist.
Yeah,
it's not something that I thought would be as big of a thing. I thought maybe the narrative side of the thing would be a bigger pull for events than the open format, but it seems to be the open's quite popular, and it brings regular crowds, and there's a community that are really into it, that obviously do include people that like narrative as well. But it seems to be quite a good format for getting people to turn up. They know what they're going to play, and they're just there for a good time. Might be quite a full on time getting all those games in, but yeah, you know what you're expecting.
It's definitely like you make a weekend of it. Usually, like the competition's on the Saturday, like the Munster one. The competition's on the Saturday, and then there's going to be a charity barbecue on the Gathering game store on the Sunday.
Oh,
so I make a weekend of it. I drive down, and then I stay for the weekend, and it's or we make a road trip. Like if it's in Northern Ireland, we'll go up to the Wee Gamers. We'll fill the car with a few lads and up we'll go, and we'll make a road trip. Or if it's in Galway, we'll drive out to Galway. It's been in Sligo previously as well. Like, so you'll see that. You see that the community travels to different regions, and it's the same for when we did ours up in Dublin. Gary and a few of the lads as well. They drove up to us, and you'll get some of the Brett and a few of the other lads from the Wee Gamers in Northern Ireland will drive down to Dublin as well. So it's a pretty close-knit community, but you're getting new faces all the time as well. Yeah, it's cool.
I'm getting worried now. It sounds too appealing now. But yeah. But yes, I think it's the kind of thing, I think probably afterwards, after the cast, it might be something I I'll poke you later on to say, have you got some of the formats for a previous event that we can steal and try out to see if it's the kind of thing that we get on with. I'm sure Nathan would like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth a go over like because we're playing Thursdays, just get 6 of the lads over 2 Thursdays, smash it out. But yeah, it's 2 games with 2 mechs aside. It should be easy to smash them out in under 2 hours. I don't know about Lewis, because I know you tend to have
Yeah, but the thing is, the thing is, if it's a timed event, then it doesn't matter how slow Lewis is, because he'll just lose on the timer.
Get beaten up. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all the information I think that I wanted to know on obviously what's going on in Ireland and the format. Is there anything else you guys wanted to ask about before we move on to next segment?
No, I'm all good, thank you. I just wanted to say thanks for Dwane for fielding our questions. I know that some of them are a little bit more kind of basic, but we are like super new to the open format, so it is literally just trying to work out exactly what it means to play in that way.
Yeah, we're little small brain baby BattleTech boys, learning about the big world out there.
Well, don't worry about it. Everyone starts off new somewhere, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, super.
There's no stupid questions. It's like fire away, like.
Super duper. Well, should we pop to a break and then should we come back for Your Tech and Law Tech?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, nice one.
Catch you guys on the flip side.
So yeah, welcome back to the break, and welcome back to Your Tech or Law Tech. So it's a segment where I've looked through all of the different source books and found some really odd things in there, or I've just gone to some AI website and randomly just put in words until it gave me something reasonable.
I didn't think you could.
So yeah,
I didn't think you could read, Nathan. Are you sure you've done this?
I've got an interpreter. Okay, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
That's okay.
It works.
Got an interpreter for reading.
So yeah, today's Your Tech or Law Tech is that during the Star League years, there was SLDF regiment stationed in Cretan space, which was made up mostly of hegemony weebs, and all they did is just they kept painting anime girls on the sides of their mechs, which was to a lot of annoyance from the locals and the combine personnel they worked with. So, after that, do you think that is a Your Tech or a Law Tech?
Well, if you've not heard this bit before, Dwane, Your Tech is if Nathan's made it up. Law Tech is if it's something that's true in the actual universe.
Actual part of the law.
So,
Right, okay.
So who wants to start then?
I'll go
do
and
it.
say this is. Oh, Dom, you go first then.
I'll
Go
do
for
it. I'll do it. It sounds goofy enough for Nathan to have made it up in his own warped, twisted mind, so I'll say that this is Your Tech.
It's Your Tech.
Okay. What about you, Lewis? What do you think?
I think this is Your Tech. This is something you want to do. This is not something that happens.
Tom?
It's got to be Your Tech, I'm afraid.
What do you say, Dwane?
I'll be the
Real
black
life.
sheep of the crew. I'll say Lord Hexer. Why not? Just for the crack.
Well, luckily for you, it is actually part of the law, yeah?
What? Can't believe it.
Yeah. Much
Not really
hegemony
in
weebs.
Nathan's imagination.
What were they
Painted,
called? What were they called, Nathan?
I don't know the names. I just found it on Sauna.
Specifics. Ugh, don't want that sort of thing.
Can't have it so you can look it up.
Yeah, I want to fact check this. I'm not sure this is real.
Well,
Well, you can go and do it on your own time, but I looked in a Reddit thread for fun facts about BattleTech, and that came up.
and Reddit is never wrong.
Never wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, well done, Dwane. Anyway, your first episode, and you're beating us all with your knowledge of Nathan's Your Tech or Law Tech.
Nathan's canon, yeah.
Maybe made up might actually be true.
It's like the Schrodinger of lore, like.
Welcome to the Hexperts.
Super duper. Cool.
Is it real? Isn't it? Who knows?
No, we'll never know.
I'm never going to look that up.
No. Cool. Well, we're gonna pop to another quick break, and we'll come back with Mech of the Week. So catch you guys on the flip side. And we're back with Mech of the Week. Mech of the Week. But yes,
Bye, Lewis.
well, you keep saying me the theme tune. I'm trying to work on it. But yes, this week is the Enforcer. The mech is Enforcer itself. It's a medium mech, walking off the production lines in 2777. That's right. This mech was actually derived from a random bunch of plans found in the Alcaneer Battle Mechs notes or storage of data storage repositories. It doesn't actually say what the mech was, but it was a previously designed mech designed for the Star League that they decided to basically take because it hadn't been used, change its 2 medium lasers for a large laser, and then start producing it for the Davians. This mech is quite a popular mech within the Davian forces. It's quite a mobile trooper mech and fulfills quite a lot of their main kind of medium and trooper mechs. It's not a bad fire support mech either because of its 2 long range weapons, which we will talk about shortly. It is known for having quite poor rear armor though. So I'm going to hand across to Nathan. He's going to talk us through the kind of standard variant of the Enforcer 4R.
So the 4R is a 50-ton medium mech with a Dawenian standard chassis, a Nissan 200 engine that lets it go 60.
Go Nissan!
Lets it go 64 kilometers per hour, which is about 39 miles per hour or 5 hexes.
Oh, 6
It's got
hexes. I forgot to change. You should have said 6 hexes. Oh no!
Federated autocannon AC-10 in the right arm, a Chris Comp 43 large laser in the left arm, another Chris Comp 32 small laser in the left torso, 12 heat sinks to manage it all, which I'm sure is nowhere near enough. And it's 1,032 BV in BV2 or 3,536,875 C-bills.
Yeah, so you can.
And how much is that in real
No, don't do it again. We don't know. But you could. I think you could buy 2 of the. You could have 2 of these per longbow, if that helps.
Okay, so you could probably get it for like a small 7 detached in like Hounslow then.
Possibly, yeah.
I feel like C-bills get too complicated. We should just change like the currency to just longbows.
Longbows.
How many longbows something costs?
We can do going forward. So that's 2 longbows. Or sorry, that's 0.5 a longbow.
Half a longbow.
Half a longbow.
Bargain.
But yeah. So Tom,
Just the bow.
Tom, there's many variants of the Enforcer. Would you like to talk through all of the variants of the Enforcer?
I will talk about all of the variants at length of the Enforcer. Oh wait, there's 2. So the first variant of the Enforcer is the ENF 5D. This walked off the production line in late 3050. So it's just at the start of the clan invasion.
What's a clan invasion? What?
It's a major upgrade to the mech, meeting many of the pilot's desires for something faster, better protected, and with more endurance. The Nissan 200 engine has been removed and been replaced with a Magna 250 extra light.
Boo.
Increasing the top speed to 86.4 kilometers an hour, or 9 hexes, and increasing the amount of space available for other additions. The armor has been stripped and has been replaced with Starguard's C4 ferrofibrous armor, which includes case to protect an ammunition explosion, while the weapon's payload has also been changed. It retains the small laser, but both the AC-10 and the large laser have been replaced with the new Mydron XL LBX-10 AC with 2 tons of ammunition and a Blazefire Sweet Shot ER large laser. Finally, an additional jump jet was added, increasing the jumping distance to by 30 meters up to 150 meters. This allows it to keep up with the Enforcer's new running profile as well. And this comes in at a sweet 1,308 BV in BV2.
That's not that bad.
So this is
That's pretty good.
It's a pretty clear upgrade on the standard.
I would say it's no Wolverine, I'm sure Dwane would say, but it's not bad.
Yeah. Pretty much, it's a decent garrison mech in the fact that it's cheap, but it's lacking a bit on the armor from what I can.
Yeah, no, I think so. And then the second variant, the only other variant, is the ENF 5R, which is introduced after the fall of New Avalon during the Dark Age. So this is like 90 years later.
Yeah,
that this is introduced. So they go base 1, 200 years, the 5D, and then 80 years, the 5R. Brilliant. This variant was produced by Callan Industries to quickly replenish the depleted ranks of the AFFS. It uses a 200 rated light engine to improve survivability when compared to the ENF 5D, though the top speed is reduced to 64 kilometers an hour with a jump radius of 120 meters. It uses the LBX autocannon from the 5D, but the left arm mounts a re-engineered large laser for use against special armor types, while an ER small laser is mounted to the left torso. 2 tons of ammo is carried in a Case 2 protected bay in the right torso, and ferrofibrous armor provides protection. And all of this comes in at a sweet 1,192 BV. So, overall, obviously, you know, there's a couple of variants here, and I think we can probably say, what do we think about the Enforcer? It kind of doesn't change roles much, but do we think it's good at the role that it's designed to do?
I suppose one of the reasons we don't see this many is because I think shortly after they replace it, or during this kind of time, they replace it with the Enforcer 3. I don't know where the Enforcer 2 goes, but that's why there's not so many variants. But it does seem to kind of have a kind of design kind of goes with it. That AC-10 and large laser seems to do quite well for it. I think both the variants seem to be quite fun, but they don't do anything too crazy. I'm not sure if I'd want to go back to the 5R because it's nice to have that re-engineered laser, but the speed at that kind of era is quite slow for a medium mech, really.
Force support isn't really cutting it.
No, I think it's gonna struggle and get a bit ran around there. Really, that kind of era. There are some custom variants that are quite cool, but obviously we won't go through them just now because the custom variants that add some quite cool weapons. But the standard ones, I do like the Enforcer. Standard one, I think I do struggle because it's just the rear armor is so low. It's lower than like a Commando. So if anyone gets behind an Enforcer, it's definitely in trouble. Anyone else got any opinions on the Enforcer?
I think I'm much the same as you, to be fair, Lewis. It does suffer, and I think as Dwane was saying, the 464 in the Ilklon just not cutting the mustard.
Oh.
No.
I think it's absolutely great for just like 3025 though.
Yeah.
Large laser and AC-10, what else do you really need?
Yeah,
it's not setting the world on fire, but it does what it does. You know what I mean? Again, I see it as a garrison mech, like your planetary defense force. You'll have a good few of them knocking around. But if you're building like a crack lance to go in and do an extraction and get out again, you'd probably overlook it for better mechs.
Yeah.
So to speak. You know, when you're a mercenary, money isn't as much of an option as if you're part of a planetary defense force and you're being financed by a government. They're going to, you know, whatever the cheapest is, we'll have 10 of them, please. You know what I mean?
Yeah. These are cranked out for the Federated Sons, weren't they? Oh dear. Dom, do you have an opinion on the Enforcer?
I mean, I've seen a picture of it. I think it looks fine.
Yeah. That's the end. Thanks, Dom.
Were you expecting more than that?
No,
is it better than the Shadowhawk? That's the key.
I'd say probably yes. I think the Enforcer, if you can keep the front armor facing forward, as if you don't use those jump jets to make sure people don't get behind you, it's good because it's got really good front armor and some quite nice ranged weapons. But if you let some mechs get around the back of you, just even a Locust, then
it's only got 10 points of rear armor, so it just pops if anything hits it from behind.
Is that right, Dom? Have you read that, or have you just made that up?
I know it does have 10. It's like 3 on the right, 3 on the rear torsos, and 4 in the center. Like if he gets hit by a medium laser in the back, anywhere in the torso, it's going in.
Yeah,
it's not great, lads. You know, mind you, if you let someone get into your rear arc, you deserve to die. So you know, it's your own fault.
Oh, don't be so mean. He could be walking through a city, and it just gets a couple of SRM2s in the back.
And you have to watch out for me as well. When I start playing BattleTech with my amazing lance with my flea in it, I'll always be around the back. I'll be ready to.
It's the piranha.
Shoot my big penetrative lasers in the back.
Oh dear! It's the.
At the same time, if anything's managing to get into your rear arc effectively. All you do is torso twist and just point the large laser at it, and it just evaporates most of the time.
You might do, but you might not be there to carry on doing any more shots.
It feels like
it might be mutual.
It's very much like a white bread and butter and ham sandwich of a mech. It just seems super boring. That's the impression I get.
I would say this mech is a cheese and pickle sandwich.
Yeah, you would, because you're weird. But
No.
I was just,
I mean, is
but
this,
to me, it just seems super boring. It's got nothing interesting about it, which is the thing that I'm looking at mostly. And it just seems fine. It looks like if you were to play like some sort of warrior game based around mechanized battle robots, it would be like the most generic guy to shoot in the face. It just seems super boring.
so Dom's
The
saying,
problem is that if you look at the weapon profile, so its maximum range is out to 15 hexes.
Yeah.
So really it wants to be getting in medium range and shorter, which is a brawler role, but
Yeah.
it's not really built to be a brawler, though. You know what I mean? It hasn't got the longevity torso-wise.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not. It's. I think what we're saying is it's not a Wolverine.
This is the problem when you're comparing yourself to other sort of mechs of the era. It is not a Wolverine at all, but there is only one Wolverine.
yeah, we'll have to look out.
Well,
I mean,
I'd hope there's more than one.
Oh, dear.
I was about to say technically there's a clan one, but no, there is only one Wolverine.
Yeah, we don't. They don't talk.
Right.
They don't talk about that clan one. Cool, but yeah. So I think some of us seem to like it. Dom, I don't think he calls it a ham sandwich. I think that's a bad thing for it. But so yeah, so we think
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just nothing. It's
Yeah.
like it's just it's like
If you-
beige.
Yeah, I think ham sandwich is probably a really good way of describing it, because if I was given a ham sandwich and I had the option of something else, I would probably want something else. But if it was like you either have a ham sandwich or you don't have a sandwich at all,
Yeah.
I'd take the ham sandwich.
Cool. Well, it sounds like if you want everyone to like a mech next week, I'm gonna have to let someone else choose a mech for mech of the week. But yeah. Anyway, so that's mech of the week. We're gonna pop to another break, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
See ya.
And we're back after the break, back into the outro. So thanks for listening, guys, and a big thank you to Dwane for coming on and putting up with us and explaining obviously stuff going on in his neck of the world. Yeah, it's been really it's been eye opening for us.
I do love when smaller podcasts come onto ours.
Oh,
No. Jokes aside, yeah. As Lewis said, thanks massively, Dwane. It's great. We've obviously met in person now, but just having you come onto the pod is going to be great. Just to sort of mesh us all together in the UK, because I think that's something that we are missing a little bit. Is the American podcasts do go onto each other's. And
a bit of cross-pollination, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of cross-pollination. You'll definitely be helping us a lot more than we're helping you. But, I'm hoping that we kind of can, move forward a little bit together. But yeah, thank you for telling us about the open format. We are going to have to play it at some point, I guess, to see what this all nonsense is about.
The thing is, lads, come over September. Cheap flights. You'll be grand.
Cheap flight, decent rooms. Come on, let's go.
All right, okay. Maybe the Hexperts will be on the Irish Open. Who knows?
So, Dwane,
we'll get the
you
spoon.
got.
Go for it.
Yeah, we are going to aim for
Spoon.
wooden spoon and second to last place.
Yes, we're going to get
it. We're coming back with 2 trophies, not the best ones, but
the ones we need.
So yeah, have you got anything to shout out? Absolutely anything and everything. Go on.
Shouting out was, again, I run the BattleTech YouTube channel myself that I occasionally make videos for every now and then. There will be the next tournaments that have dates and are organised in Ireland are the Munster Regional Championship, which still has availability. That is in Limerick in the Shannon Rowan Club on Saturday the 19th of July. And we will be having the Irish BattleTech Nationals in the Cartel Hotel in Dublin, right up beside the Dublin Airport on September the 13th.
Not December.
Excellent.
Definitely not December.
Not December.
Just turn up with your mechs. Just be there on your own. Where are you guys? But yes, and as you said, thank you very much for coming on, and thank you for all of your teachings that you're able to pass across at the expo as well. With you being able to run some more events and actually tell me how to set up a table so humans can use it.
Well, share the knowledge, yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, obviously, And everyone else, obviously, please support us and support Dwane as well. Like, favourite, subscribe, share, ring bells, all the other things you're supposed to do on social medias.
Where else can they find us, Lewis?
They can find us. They can find us in many places. A lot of those places are in the descriptions of this episode, wherever you're listening or watching. If you do want to get in contact with us, please email hexpertshelpline@gmail.com. Oh, that's pretty much it, really. If there's nothing else, we'll probably catch you guys next week.
So yeah.
See you
On the
next
flip
week.
side,
Catch you guys.
Thanks for having me on.
Catch
See
you guys
you
on the flip side. Bye bye.